Since the Industrial Revolution, humans have been dependent on fossil fuels, specifically oil, to power various vehicles like cars, airplanes, and to heat houses and make plastic. There are approximately 7 billion people on this planet, and this is a number that continues to grow daily, without showing any sign of stopping or slowing down. As the human population increases, the demand for oil also increases. More people need cars, more houses are built that need heating, and more people need things like plastic containers and water bottles. As well, flying has become an increasingly popular way to travel, with an estimated 37.5 million flights per year. That's a lot of oil being used. In the United States alone, there are 1.3 people for every car, meaning there are about 414.7 million cars in the United States. Each of those cars relies on a fossil fuel to run. These numbers only increase as our population grows, and without fossil fuels, many aspects of our lives would fall apart. As the demand for oil increases, the transportation of oil also increases, and suppliers begin to ship larger and larger quantities of oil all over the world. Oil is most commonly transported by ship or pipeline. The more oil that is transported and the more frequently it is transported, the higher the risk for oil spills. An oil spill, by definition, is when a large amount of liquid petroleum is released into the environment by human means, also known as vehicle or pipeline. The main cause of these accidents is human negligence. These spills are a major form of pollution and are severely damaging to the environment. It can take years for an ecosystem to recover from the devastating effects of having a massive amount of oil dumped in a place where it just shouldn't be. Oil is extremely harmful to wildlife. In the case of marine animals, it affects their fur and makes it so that they are unable to swim, meaning they are unable to find food or care for their young. When oil becomes stuck to a bird's feathers, it breaks down the insulating capabilities of birds and makes them sensitive to cold and causes their feathers to lose their waterproof ability. Because of this, birds will instinctively try to remove the oil by preening, which will only cause them to ruin their feathers further and ingest the oil, which is toxic and causes them to die. It is extremely difficult to clean up oil spills, especially those that occur in water. It involves the use of many different kinds of equipment, such as boomers, which keep the oil contained, or skimmers, which are boats that can remove the oil from the water's surface, or by putting various chemicals in the water to break up the oil. Not only is this process difficult and long, but it is very expensive and can take a long time. The worst oil spill in recorded history occurred during 1991 and is known as the Gulf War oil spill. Approximately 1,500,000 tons of oil were spilled into the Gulf, as Iraqi forces opened valves of oil during their retreat from Kuwait. In 2015 alone, there were 2 large oil spills, resulting in approximately 6,000 tons of oil combined, and 6 medium spills between 7 to 700 tons. Canada is increasingly trying to reduce humanity's dependence on fossil fuels, and if fossil fuels are needed less, there will be less reason to transport it, therefore decreasing the amount of oil spills that happen every year. In 2015, Canada joined other G7 leaders by committing to a plan to end the use of fossil fuels by 2100. Canada also promised to cut their fossil fuel consumption by 17% by 2020, a target which officials have stated will not be met. Although the Canadian government has made many promises to cut back on their fossil fuel consumption, they have so far failed to do so, and Canada is falling behind in its commitments to their environment. However, in terms of transporting oil and reducing the amount of oil spills, Canada, among many other countries, has begun to take extraordinary precaution when it comes to oil transportation. Although the number of oil spills has decreased dramatically since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, they still occur on a large scale, as seen in the data mentioned earlier. If Canada really wants to solve the problem of oil spills that has been caused by a growing human population who are dependent on oil, they need to increase their efforts. For what they are doing right now is nowhere near enough. In conclusion, oil spills are horrific accidents with devastating effects on the environment, and we need to improve our methods of oil transportation dramatically. Not only are oil spills directly caused by humans, as they occur when we make fatal errors such as not putting in proper alarms or seals, but they are also caused by our increasing population. By 2050, there will be approximately 9.6 billion people on this planet. That is 2.6 billion people who will also need cars, travel by airplane, and drink from plastic water bottles. Our increasing population is directly related to our increasing demand for oil, and it is the root to our oil spill problem. Less transportation, fewer spills. Therefore, only by reducing our dependency on oil and other fossil fuels will we ever be able to truly solve it.